Hi, and welcome to Ida and her books. I'm Ida, and these are my books. Today I'm doing the representation book tag, created by Iris Moon. This is a tag about representation in media, and your own feelings and your own identity being represented. So I'm not gonna choose like a specific book on each question, it's more just gonna be a discussion, I thought, about identity and books and media and a bit about myself. What's the plan? First question is introduce yourself. What are your identities? My name is ida.vestman. I am from Sweden. My identities are white, woman. I am demisexual, pan-romantic. I am left-handed. I am very tall, I am tall for being a woman. And I'm also what people consider plus size. I am able-bodied. Question 2 is, what was the first book/media in which you felt represented? And I have a couple of different ones on this one. First of all, the Nancy Drew series I loved as a child, partly for being good books, but also partly because the main character was a reddish blonde like me. That is something my mom would always compliment me on, my hair, because I had beautiful golden reddish hair. And yeah, that is something, they described her as a reddish blonde. Not those exact words of reddish in Swedish, but that hair color. She had the same hair color as me, and I love that for some reason. Second one that I felt represented by was Sherlock Holmes, and I couldn't articulate why until recently. A lot of people like to think that he's gay, especially with the new Sherlock series with Cumberbatch, because his relationship with John Watson. I read Sherlock Holmes as asexual. Why? Because he doesn't seem to have any interest in other people in that way. I don't think it's because he's a sociopath. I don't think it's because he's a genius. I just don't think he's romantically interested or sexually interested in other people. He might be asexual and homoromantic. He might be romantically interested in Watson, but I just, that is as far as I would go with that. I don't think he's interested in other people in that way, because he is so focused on his career and on the solving crimes and all of that. And I don't think he cares about romantic relationships. And that is someone that I felt very connected to as a child, and that is why I still love the Sherlock Holmes series. I don't really remember that many. I mean, it's Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series, because she was a bright young girl, and it was really fun to read about a girl who wasn't just ditzy and loved pink, because I was such a tomboy as a child. Because there are such stereotypes about girls, just girls, not even like the LGBT community. Just girls are already put in so many stereotypes in books and movies that both Hermione Granger and the Nancy Drew series really resonated with me for that reason, that they were complex characters that were not like everyone else. Next question, is there a character in your favorite book/genre that represents you? And this is a difficult one, because I have not read that many books with LGBT people. I'm trying to read more, because I really want to find that character that represents me. But apart from Sherlock that I mentioned, because crime novels are not really my favorite genre, I really resonate with one of the main characters in Norra, who is a lesbian girl who's really shy and really introverted. And when she comes to this new school and begins with books, she immediately gets this huge crush on a classmate, and that is something I recognize a lot. And so I like her. I feel represented by her. I mentioned I'm very tall and being a left-handed, because I think that is things that are not often represented in books. I mean, the last book I read, the girl was literally 5 feet tall, and there are so many books where girls are so tiny, because girls are supposed to be tiny, and in this Night Hunter series that I've read like all the books in, the reason why I like them so much, apart like because I don't like the romance parts, the reason I do like them, one of the reasons is that Kat, the main character, is 5'9". She's taller than me, and that is rare in books. Usually girls are, like I said, so short, and the guy is like 2 feet taller, and it's just weird. But she's so tall, this girl, Kat, this woman, she's an adult woman, and she's so tall, and I really like that she is tall, and she takes up a lot of room because she has a loud personality, and she's allowed to be a loud person, and that is rare because I like being loud. Like I said, I might be an introvert, but I might be an extrovert with anxiety might also be the case. But she's allowed to take up this space, and no one's there to tell her, oh, you can't do that because you're a girl. I can't think of any left-handed characters off the top of my head, but that is something I think about a lot when I read, because I notice a lot of times that if you give a description of a room or people walking along a lake or something like that, usually you come to a point where they mention something about directions, and I realize that I've read the entire scene mirrored from how it's described in the book. And I think that's a lefty thing, or it's just a me thing. I like to think it's a lefty thing, because I've only ever discussed this with other right-handed people and they think I'm weird. So that is something I would like to see more of in books, to know that they are left-handed or not. I'm not sure why, it's a big part of my identity. Next question: what was the worst representation of one of your identities that you have ever read? Well, as a woman, the book I read this autumn, Mörkersikt, where, oh god, it was terrible. I've talked so many times about it because it's just the... oh god, I have no words. So have you seen, it's like memes and like Tumblr posts about guys writing girls, and it's always like such focus on their looks and their boobs and their makeup, and their hair looks flawless and everything is just, oh my god. Yeah, it was that kind of person. The first entire paragraph was her just looking in the mirror and describing her own flawless body and basically being turned on by herself. And can't say I've ever done that. So that was really weird, and that's what made me put down the book. If you go outside of the books, anything that Melissa McCarthy has done in movies, I love Melissa McCarthy. She's a also so-called plus-size woman. She only gets to play the funny parts. The only exception is Spy, where she's the actual main character, and she actually has, like, not like a love story, but she has an arc that's not she's fat and she needs to learn to love herself. She's actually like confident, and I need to watch that movie again, it's a good movie. But I haven't really seen that much bad representation in books. Also not like with sexuality and stuff, just because I haven't read that many books about LGBT people. About good representation, by the way, from one of the earlier questions. Any slow burn romance is gold. Because I'm not sure if demisexual is the right word for it, but basically I don't feel sexual attraction unless I have a strong emotional connection with a person already. And so a slow burn romance builds up that emotional connection, that emotional relationship before it becomes sexual, or before it becomes romantic. And that is just a beautiful thing, and that is something I can relate to so much. And I just remember the character that represents that so well, and that is the main character from The Forgetting, and I think her name is Nadia. And the reason I think she represents this so well is because, well, I think it represents it well because I'm also not a very touchy person, unless it's with someone I'm very close to. So she is very standoffish when it comes to personal boundaries and wants to keep to herself, and the love interest is also very respectful of that. Something I mentioned several times when talking about this book. The first kiss she has with the love interest is something she initiates, is something she chooses. It's not the strong masculine guy forcing himself on a girl because he knows she will like it. That is a horrible thing. No, she gets to be the person taking the initiative. She gets to take an active part in moving their relationship forward. And it's also, they spend so much time together before this happens that they get to build up this relationship from the point where she can barely say a word to him because she's not afraid, I don't think, but she's so introverted, so just pulled into herself. She hasn't had anyone to talk to in a long time. She doesn't know how to open up to having this relationship with this boy and taking an active part in moving it forward. And I think that is lovely. I don't think they don't say she's demisexual or asexual and anything, but I identify so strongly with this person. I really do. And it is lovely. Last question is, do you think your identities are misrepresented or underrepresented in the books that you read? And like I said, plus size people I think are very underrepresented and misrepresented when they are in media. I want more left-handed people because I like left-handed people. We're supposed to be 10% of the population, and so why aren't we 10% of people in books? Tall people, tall women, because guys are always 6'2" and all the women are 5 feet, and it's just, it doesn't really work like that. There are a lot of short guys and a lot of tall girls. So yeah, I want to see more of that. And just overall more LGBT representation, more different types of LGBT representation. Because the most I can identify with characters is, like I said, slow burn romances and lesbians. Because that is as close to my identity as I can get. And that is just the sexual spectrum. Like I said, I'm also pan-romantic. And that is never made, there's never difference, they never make a, I can't do words. I never read a book where they point out the difference between sexuality and romantic attraction, sexual attraction and romantic attraction, because they are different things. And it is important that they can be different things. Because it's so easy to forget other types of relationships than the sexual ones. Friendships are so important. And romantic relationships that do not need to include sex. That's just a fact. And yeah, that is my thoughts on representation. And I'm not sure if it made any sense, but I really wanted to talk about this because I haven't really talked to a lot of people about it, and I want to talk to people about it. I don't really have that community. I'm really bad at finding new people to talk to, so I haven't really found a community of LGBT people where I can really talk about things. I have a few friends who are bisexual or lesbian and others, and with them we can talk about these kinds of things. It's just that in the community where they are, we usually just talk about sex. And that's, yeah. So, I just wanted to vent, basically. I'm not gonna tag any people really, because I don't know who hasn't done this tag. I think everyone should do it because it's fun to talk about. And I think it's important to talk more about sexualities. And now I couldn't really bring anything to the table race-wise because I'm about as white as you can get. But I think that is really important too to talk about and really like to bring up, yeah, people who aren't like the majority in books and give them space. So yeah, I'm rambling. If you like this video, please subscribe. I upload on Saturdays, sometimes Thursdays, and I will see you in my next video.